verses 1 through 4. Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy. I have no idea what you are seeing. Be perfectly honest. Oh, you see me taking in my vices? Okay. Act like you don't see it. Anywho, it's going to take me a few minutes to set up because I can't set up my videos before I begin a live stream for whichever reason. But that's okay. So I have to set my video up once I begin. I've done everything in my power. Oh, I did that wrong. Too bad I can't go. Lord Jesus Christ. Hold on, y'all. I did something so wrong. But I'm about to correct it right now. I ain't got time for the YouTube games. Like reindeer games. Keeping with the holiday. I ain't got time. I got me a little something to sip on. As you can see, this is an Aquarius Rambling Rant. When I ramble, baby, we really don't know where I'm going. I don't know, you don't know. We just get on the whatever wave come and we ride it. A few hours ago, I did a live stream, and I was trying to cover a particular subject matter. I didn't do well. So I'm just looking at that video as preliminary information that we all need if we really want to understand what's going on. At this time, once again, I'm still trying to set up. Okay. I guess this. I'm supposed to take this from here. Cut and paste. Oh, that did go there. Put that there. Didn't recognize it. And put this here. Okay. That's right. I didn't spell that right. Do this. Okay. Gotta do what you gotta do to get by. And so that's what I'm doing. Let me see. So right now, what was I doing? I was turning on my monetization. I want to look at the monetization settings because I do not want. Oh, they didn't do it this time. They didn't put on the skippable ads. Okay, that's good. Because I know y'all get tired of every time I say one word, it go over into a long commercial. That was YouTube doing all that no matter what I asked for. So what else do I need to cover? Excuse me, what time is it? Okay. So now I have to go, and I got a few tags, so I'm not going to worry about that. Make sure this date is in here and my location. And I also want to make sure, I told them I don't want nothing embedded. And they still embedding my videos. I'm not going to rant. I can rant. This is an Aquarius Rambling Rant. I can talk about anything for real in any order. It ain't even got to make sense. Enable live chat. Why did they disable my live chat? Okay. The reason why they got all my videos embedding, at first I had it some years ago, but they are allowing my videos to be come through other sites and whatever you call it, through a Russian company or something. So that's why I've been falling off. I'm not playing that one no more. Allow chat replay. So they done stopped all that. That's okay. I'm going to take my time. There you go. There you go, YouTube. Now, I'm about to click on. I'm going to hear sound check. There you go, YouTube. Now, right there. That's the sound check. Okay. I had to just make sure. Because they playing some dirty technical games with me. Okay, let me shrink this board up. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. I don't know how long this live stream is going to be. I'm trying to get everything where I can see. Now, well, recently when I make live streams, I really haven't been able to communicate with the audience due to the various technical issues I've been dealing with, as well as my inability to articulate the subject matters that I'll be covering. I'll be trying to stay on point, and I can't. So I just try to focus on my notes and not the audience. But today I hope to interact with the audience. If I get one, we'll see. Oh, I should have tried to go live the other way too before I did this, but I did it all right. So I'm just sitting here waiting for a little bit to see if I get anybody in. I've been live now for 6 minutes, so I'm going to chill out for a minute before I start talking. Happy holidays to anybody that celebrates the holidays. Let's see. What can I do? Let's see if YouTube allows me to get an audience going through a Russian company. What kind of crap is that? A Russian-based company. Ooh. I guess I can refer you to a movie that I'm interested in seeing. It's called The Stand. It has been being advertised on Facebook, and it's starring Whoopi Goldberg, and it came out, I guess, October 9th of this year. It was its original form was in a book written by Stephen King in 1978. And the channel is CBS at All Access. I'm really interested in tuning into that program because it seems like it's talking about a subject matter that I often talk about, and it's this period in the history. It's this period in the timeline of humanity in which humanity hits a crossroad and has to decide if we're going to live righteously or unrighteously. That seems to be the theme. I'm not sure, but that's what I get from what you call it, the trailers or something like that. And I found that the movie interesting. I really do. I find that this movie, or I think it's a movie, is interesting to be that it was released this year. And this year, because when I study my astrological, do my astrological lessons, that suggests that the astrological studies that I do suggest that's where humanity is. At this point in time, we're at a crossroads. We have to decide if we're going to cohabitate on this earth and we be righteous, the predominant percentage of the population is righteous, or is the larger majority going to be unrighteous, and that's going to be the energy that carries us. And so for this movie to be coming out at this very moment suggests something to me, as did the movie The Bird Box. And I said it when that movie came out. I said, oh, for this movie to come out, the movie The Bird Box, and based on what the movie was really about and what it was insinuating, suggests to me that we was about to go through something. And I talked about it in the videos, that video called The Bird Box, interpreting the movie Bird Box, or whatever I entitled it. And sure enough, they released that movie, The Bird Box, because it was forewarning of this time period we were going through. And I do believe that this movie, The Stand, is the exact same thing. Remember, as you view this live stream, this is an Aquarius Rambling Rant. I am sipping. Most likely I'll be partaking in my vices and all kind of things. I might even get a little belligerent every now and then. I don't know. I don't think so, but you never know with an Aquarius Rambling Rant. Thus far, what have I said? I'm saying, hey, it's like I've heard that the powers that be convey messages, subliminal messages, to the world's population through entertainment. I've heard that before from many different people in different places, but I never understood it. I never focused on it to pay attention or to see. But since I started paying attention, since that movie The Bird Box came out, that's the case. It truly is the case. And if you follow me, you know it was a video I did where I decoded some book of the Bible, some chapters within the Bible. I can't remember exactly which book it was. It's recorded in one of my previous live streams. I think is the video I did that is entitled "Forgive Us, God, for we knew not." I think that's the video where I talked about how I saw in the Bible, it said, hey, is the God of the world was saying, hey, I'm a fair and just God, so we're going to let them know exactly what's going on at any given time. However, I'm also like a trickster God. And so we won't be telling them the whole thing, you know, and how this God of this world has a crew or some minions that they're in charge of different sectors of our physical experience, and their whole goal, this team, is to inform the people, inform humanity about what's taking place at any given time. I was blown away when I read that, because I got that information from the Bible, from the King James Version Bible. And it was blowing me away, because I was in the church for a long period of time, and I was reading the Bible, but I was reading it from a different perspective. I was reading it from the perspective in which the minister taught me to read it, or the school teacher, what do you call it, a Sunday school teacher taught me to read it. Until I start applying, what do you call it, applied knowledge. Applied knowledge. Then I start understanding the Bible. What do I mean by applied knowledge? Because I like to explain everything. I believe that tree in the Garden of Eden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, are the various branches of knowledge that we now study, like in universities. Everything from music to accounting to law, that's what that is. And heck, I forgot what I was going to say, but I'm on my way somewhere. You know, this is an Aquarius Rambling Rant, but I'll get back to it. Since I got two people in the room, I'm about to start turning up with this rant. So the first thing I want to talk about is, I want to know where is my money. I want my money. I am tired of being used by this system and the powers that be in order to advance their agenda. I want my money. I want my portion. I want my piece of the pie. And I'll explain what I'm talking about, if I can remember. In times past, I have referred to a time period in which, let's see, the internet was taken off. Let me stop. Hopefully I don't forget, but I got to go back and give a disclaimer. For this live stream, I expect it to be jumbled and me to seem a little disoriented, because the information I'm going to offer in this video has to do with technology. I have been trying desperately to explain that when dealing with technology, it is very complex. And the reason that dealing with technology and talking about it is because there's a term for everything. And one of the aspects relative to technology that I don't think many of us take into consideration is that technology is developed from the natural resources. An example of what I mean is, good time to add a new subject matter here. Book of Revelations. I've been studying the Bible, remember? So today, well, I don't want to, today, over the last few days, I've been really reading the book of Revelations and gaining clarity on it. And one of the verses that I read was Revelation chapter 21, verse 18. Okay. And I'm going to read this verse, and I'm reading it for a reason. Remember, this is an Aquarius Rambling Rant. I'm all over the place. It says, and the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like until clear glass. Why am I just reading that verse from chapter 21 of the book of Revelation in the Bible? It is because I'm going to use that particular verse out of its context to try to explain what I mean about just how, when dealing with technology, how it's so complicated. That term jasper. Now, jasper is a mineral, if I'm not mistaken. And when I was in the church years ago, my imagination ran away with me. I'm looking at this new heaven and earth coming upon this earth, this old earth, with all this brilliance, you know, all the glitz and glamour, including jasper. But here I am, like 20 years later, and I'm able to go back and read these Bible verses with a lot more knowledge base. That tree of knowledge of good and bad, a lot more. You know, over my course of my life, I have become familiar with a lot of details or details associated with many of the various branches of knowledge. And one of those branches is like chemistry or in natural science. So today when I read these scriptures, I see things through a different lens. So when it talks about this jasper in the context in which I'm reading that one verse, I sat down and pondered, like, what does that really mean? I'm going to read it again. I'm going somewhere, y'all. It says, and the building, what is this all talking about? This is Revelations chapter 21. I'm in the 18th verse. And so it's been talking about the coming of the new heaven and the new earth and the passing away of the old earth and the old heaven and things like that. And then it gets down here in the 18th verse and it says, and the building of the wall of it was jasper. What do you mean? The building of what? The building of the new heaven? I mean, the new city of Jerusalem. I think it starts talking about Jerusalem here or something. Let's say the new city of Jerusalem has walls made of jasper. How does that serve me? How does that serve anybody in humanity? What difference is that going to make? We got buildings made of glass and of concrete. What difference? And I sat down. I said, well, what is jasper? Really, what is jasper? So you know what I do? I Googled it. And to find out jasper, chemical composition is SiO2. SiO2. It is silicone. Silicone. Is it? SiO2. It is, and let me see. So the actual stone or I guess a sediment, that's what I'm saying. Each of these branches of knowledge have all of these terms associated with it. And when dealing with various branches of knowledge at the same time, and each branch having this enormous vocabulary list, it complicates stuff. Especially when you don't know how to organize it. Like I really don't know how to effectively organize it when I'm dealing with technology. And I'll try to explain. So back to this Jasper mentioned in the 18th verse of chapter 21 of Revelation. Jasper's chemical formula is SiO2. SiO2. So that takes us to the element table to understand what's really being said. It is said in this Bible when talking about Jasper. Now remember, I've been sharing with y'all, hey, when I read parts of this Bible, it's talking about the development of technology and where technology is expected to go or take us. Take us who? Humanity. Is it still doing a rambling, Aquarius Rambling Rant? Is this still going to be a complicated subject to cover? I just wonder. It looked like it is. So, right now, what have we learned? We learned that Jasper, which is I believe, a mineral, it is a quartz. And when, don't get technical, that's what complicates it for me. In short, Jasper is silicone. So the question emerges, what can silicone be used to do in this real physical world? Now silicone has let's see, there right now. When we start talking about the silicone dioxide, but also just silicone. Silicone dioxide or silica. Let me talk about what that verse is talking about. It is talking about, as soon as I go live, it's talking about what we can make in this world once we knew how to master that particular chemical formula. And we did. We mastered it. And I didn't even know I had talked about this subject matter before. When I talked about natural disasters. Give me a minute. You don't hear the doorbell? Okay, you go on the door. We got Scrappy barking. I'm live. You need help? No. You need heat and rub? Yeah. Oh, Lord, I'm coming back, y'all. Did you bump it? No. Michigan well. I mean, every day, every time I go by. Whew. Okay. I'm back. I'm back and I'm mad. Now I got to catch my breath. Lord have mercy. What was I talking about? Silicone. We have mastered the chemical silicone. I covered this subject matter when I did the video called something about natural disasters. Remember, everything on my channel that I do, excuse me, I had to run down the stairs and back up. Whew. This is a fat person problem. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand. So, everything I do on my channel, I'm directed to do by either my higher self or something that's much more conscious and aware than myself. And so it was a time that I was instructed to cover how humanity works have led to many or the majority of the natural disasters that we are faced to deal with. And so I talked about some of our works, and they were rather at the time I didn't know it. It was dealing with silica and other natural sediments and things like that. And it's about the excavation of the various sediments that stabilize this earth. So anyway, silica or silicone or silicone dioxide. It's 95% of it is sand. And we use it for commercial purposes, same subject matter I covered back then, in order to create structures. You know, we create concrete out of it. Another use is for sand casting, for making metals. You ever seen some metallic product? The cast, the iron is poured into like a sand mold. We also use the silicone to make glasses. Glass. And also ceramic glazes, like we put on dishes and different things like that. And then the majority of the optical fibers for telecommunication are made out of this substance. Other uses for silicone or SiO2 is electrical conductivity, transistors, and solar cells. And then there are other things as well. What am I talking about? Because y'all know I be all over the place. That's who I am. I'm talking about, hell, I don't forget, going up and down on stairs and somebody turned the heat up on hell. I was talking about natural resources. They threw me on. I forgot, but I was talking about silicone because silicone is used in technology. It has been used in advancing us. It hasn't been a technological advancement in itself, but it's also helped us advance in technology. Here's a subject I need to try to clarify for myself and for any viewer. Is when I talk about technological advancements, I have to truly figure out how to describe the different type of technological advancements. Because many times when I have used technological advancements in the past, I'm talking about when I'm talking about artificial intelligence. Maybe that's the term I should use. I gotta separate these. I got a fun part of this video. It's gonna be fun. Oh yeah. But I need to clarify some things, some terms that I use. I don't even know. I really don't know what category to put this up under. I'm gonna have to do some more research, and I'm gonna have to return back to the branches of knowledge in which curriculums in school are based. And I have to go there in order to see the various categories that fall like up under technology. But I'm going to try to explain. When I say technology, technology is advancements in technology can be anything. It's becoming aware of how to use one element of this earth to make a change. An advancement in technology, keeping with the information I just offered you, is first and foremost the sediment or stone, jasper, had to be found in this earth. I'm trying to make clear what I'm trying to say. It had to be found in this earth. Once this rock called jasper was found, it had to be evaluated for its properties. And I think it's natural science. And in natural science, if you remember taking that class, your instructor might have you strike the piece of sediment or rock, in this case jasper, onto some paper or something to see its, again, terms. What was it called? Density or something like that. It was called strike, I do believe. And it was just saying how easy, when you strike this rock or this sediment on a piece of paper, how easily does it mark? Like a piece of chalk, if you hit it, it immediately marks. That's soft. You know, or maybe a number 1 on the hardness. It's a hardness test. Hardness test. And if you strike it, and like a diamond, and it doesn't, none of the debris of that actual material come off and make a mark, then the hardness, you know, might be a 10. I mean, it's not easy to, you know, break off or make a skid mark. You know, I'm going to use all kind of terminology here. I got to get some real simple terms if I possibly can. Because this is where we are now. This is really where we are. This is going to be the complication of my channel from here on out. This is where humanity is. Either we catch up with technology or we get left behind. Literally. Catch up with the movement, get caught up with the movement, get raptured with the movement. Just like the biblical what was that trend, the rapture. Either get raptured with the trend or get left behind. And what trend are we trying to what trend is it that we need to catch up with? It's science, engineering, technology, and our awareness of it. So, what am I saying? I was just talking about jasper because I wanted you to begin to see, when reading some texts, and I'm sure it's just not in the Bible, I'm sure it's other places, that these clues or this storage of information is kept. I'm quite sure of it. I've ran into it, the stored information, the stored encoded information many times in my life, in different sectors of my life. But I'm trying to stay as simple as possible in order not to confuse myself or complicate the subject matter that I'm trying to cover. And most likely we'll be trying to cover from here on out a little bit at a time to bring us up to par so that we don't get left behind. So back to the Bible, back to the book of Revelation, back to the 21st chapter, back to verse 18, the term jasper. It's not talking about walls being built of pure jasper stones. You know, the walls of the city, new city of Jerusalem. It's not talking about that, or however it applies to the overall content. It's talking about the chemical formula that is jasper. That is jasper. Again, that takes us back to the element table. Element table. Where I am now in my understanding is somewhat disheartening, because I have heard, and I don't want to mention nobody's name, a creator here on YouTube, and they're very popular, and they often, well, not often, every time I've heard them, I watch them because they're entertaining in the context of nothing they say. Well, I can't say nothing. I'll say 99% of what they say don't make it sense to me, but they're very, very popular. And one of the I guess themes they ride on is about basically in intelligence and discarding and people being lost if they follow any doctrine or any understanding of this world or something like that, which doesn't make any sense. Which doesn't make any sense. It just don't make any sense. That they're saying not everybody's lost and they don't understand. You lost if you believe anything a scientist say, or that's a dismissal, because obviously they don't have the competency to rise to the occasion in which this time calls humanity to do. It causes us to rise our consciousness and awareness about the reality of this world, including all the complex details. In my last live stream I just did, where I made a mess, and I'm not permitted to make messes when it ain't a rambling rant. This is a rambling rant. Riddle. That it's seeming like to me, but I could be wrong. But I kind of starting to feel like that which created us may very well look like us. Look like us. We look like it. It's the difference between us and it, or them, is that their intelligence is far, far superior. The most intelligent human being intelligence is nowhere near our creator's intelligence. That's what I'm getting. This is crazy. Um, but I'm still trying to figure out some things relative to that, because I also saw that there is a species, the reptilian species, that may have an interest in humanity, and so I'm not quite sure if they're one and the same. I'm not quite sure if they're one and the same species, or are these two different, celestial families at odds. One is our creator, and maybe another species has an interest in us. And I'm really talking about off-world entities having an interest in earthly humanoids. So that's still yet for me to discover and gain clarity on. But so okay, I'm all over the place. Jasper, silicone, and understanding the uses of silicone. Yes, now understanding the uses of silicone, it lets us know that we've advanced in technology. That's a way of advancing in technology. But then there are other methods of advancing in technology, and it has to do with computers. And that's the terminology that's the type of terminology, overlapping terminology, that is becoming very complex for me. Because when I want to talk about computers, I really, really want to talk about computers, and I will be talking about computers during this particular live stream. And I have tried to gain clarity on computers, but that field is very, very complex. It has a lot of sectors to it, and it has a lot of something's okay. What's going on? Am I froze? Okay. It has a lot of sectors to it. Let's see. Can I do this? I I knew it was something that they was going to do. They did that too nice when I started. I already knew. I already knew, YouTube. These are things I set up prior. All day yesterday, I set up here and cleaned this whole backdrop of my channel up, and, you know, put in the upload default details, everything. I knew it was something. I knew it was something. There's always something with these folks. I was saying early on, I want my money. I want my piece of the pie. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the early stages of development when it comes to technology. Technology, complication. It's complex. For this part of the video, I'm talking about computers. I'm talking about processors. I'm talking about the hardware and software. I want my money. I'm talking about programming. I want my money. I want my piece of the pie. And you should want yours too. Because anybody that had any dealings with any early computers or online participation, we help these developers program these computers. We helped them retrieve the consciousness of God. Try to make it make sense if I can. Years ago, probably in 19, you're losing track of time, 98. In 1990, no, that wasn't it. It was before that. 1988? No. I'm going to Google this because my mind must not be flowing. AOL. Gosh dang it. AOL. History. Who came before AOL? Anything before AOL? AOL, stylized AOL, formerly Control Video Corporation, 1983 to 1985. Quantum Computer Services, 1985 to 91. I'm on Wikipedia reading details about AOL. Subsidiary. Oh, founded 37 years ago. Now listen to this. AOL was founded 37 years ago in 1983. So it must have been in 1988. Maybe that I had access for the first time to AOL, maybe. I don't know. I lose track of time. Could be. So, AOL.com. Okay. What am I talking about? I'm talking about when online activities first took place. I would get online through, I believe, the means of dialing up. The phone line had to be plugged up to the computer. And I guess, I don't know all the terminology. Google is called the search engine. AOL was the comparative search engine at the time. And whenever a person visited a site or participated in something online, the computer would ask you to type in, like, it would give you some words like cookie dough or chocolate cookie. You had to put those words together that went together, like conjuncting words. See, they said it was to, like, basically, like, prove you weren't a robot or something back then, or something like that. I really don't remember the details. But I used to often chuckle at the words that were I had to couple together, like peach pie, cherry pie, or something like that. But the reality was, we were helping to program computers. We were computer programming. We were being manipulated. I'm just talking about the general populace that was participating in online activities. We have been manipulated into participating into programming these the consciousness of what's the term? What would we programming? I mean AI? No, it wasn't. Well, was a form of artificial intelligence. But like it's the brain of, or the central system of like the internet. We're gonna be in trouble. We are in trouble. I'm gonna partake in my vices because we are in trouble. Ain't nobody on here anyway to view me partaking in my vices. Let me see, because I'm supposed to be able to. Uh-oh. I get on the wrong page again. Oh yeah, because I had a feeling based on what was occurring that I'm nowhere near my page. Let me see if I can get back to it. Oh my gosh. What's going on? Might get a little feedback, playback right now. No, it's still cut off. Okay. This is crazy. Uh-huh. Okay. Now earlier they let me have a few visitors, huh? But not this evening. Okay. Anyway, so I had to put, me and any other participant had to couple these words together in order to access whatever we wanted to access online. As I've been stating, the what they call it, developers, the computer programmers couldn't do it all themselves. They had to manipulate the general population to help them program the brain of computers. So many technical difficulties to overcome when talking about this subject matter. That's not the only time. I realized the other day, that's not the only time that the general populace was manipulated into helping the programmers program the central intelligence of computers. There's so many different parts. What do I mean? I think I need to get this part out. Computers. This is a good subject matter that needs to be covered in detail. If I can get this one out, or somebody can talk about this particular subject matter, I think we might have a chance. I think we might have a chance. Because it's through this branch of knowledge, talking about computers, is where humanity levels the playing field with the powers that be. I can't even talk about it. Just don't know how, because it's so complex. But the other day when I was studying, in the last live stream I did, I was trying to talk about how God is manifest here on earth. And one of the announcements that God is here is this vac that has been approved to treat the vid. And it is called, what is it? Zen American or something is the medicine is called. The vac. Anywho, I talked about in the last live stream that this vac has nanoparticles in it. And I'm thinking the nanoparticle that is present in this approved vac is zinc, Z-I-N-C, based on that Zen part being a part of the name of the vac. Hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about when I say vid, vac. One time, vid, COVID, vac, vaccination. You know what I'm saying? And so I was talking about the nanoparticles. God dang it. I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm forgetting. What happened to what's happening? Okay. Technology. I guess I'll just make a lot of little statements that don't go together. Another thing about technology, remember it's different forms of technology, which is complicating this, is that technology is in every aspect of our lives now, and I don't think we're quite aware of it. So far, what have I said? Hey, technology is created from the natural resources of this earth. I used an example, gave the example of silicone, and tried to go into detail about it. Another thing is that it's in every aspect of our lives already. We're at this junction where technology is at the pinnacle of every aspect of our lives, and it will be every aspect of our lives, and all those various aspects of our lives are going to be interlinked through technology. That's God manifest here on earth, and it's going to regulate and police humanity. So I want my money. I'm still talking about how I want my money. I want my cut. I want my piece of the pie. I want my dividends. Because I did help these programmers program the consciousness of computers or artificial intelligence. I want my money. Because I spent a lot of time online, even back then. Another thing is I realized, I was studying the nanoparticles. When I was studying the nanoparticles, I really got into it because it was actually an interesting subject matter to study. And it's hard to talk about these different subject matters too when you can't show illustrations. I think that's another thing. But when I was reading on nanoparticles, how did I end up? And that ended up. What is the cubic? Was I studying? Now, why didn't I write what this was, how I got here? What am I looking at? I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out technology. I don't remember how I got here. Anywho, right now, because I don't know how to break this up, but I had a realization when I was researching. I was researching nanoparticles, and then I got off into something. Anyway, I came across this term called qubit. It's spelled Q-U-B-I-T. I said, I heard that term before. Qubit. Qubit. This term, qubit. Q-U-B-I-T. I was like, yeah. When I was growing up, it was a name called Q-Bert. Q-Bert. I'm going to just try to focus on this subject matter right now and nothing else. Please just focus on this subject matter and nothing else. This is an Aquarius Rambling Rant. Okay, so nobody said nothing, so wondering if what you call them turned it off. Possibly. If ain't nobody typed anything, I'm gonna go check and see did YouTube turn it off again. Chat, because I turned it on, they turned it off, I turned it on. So I was like, I played this game called Cubert. When I was coming up, I was born in 1970. By 1980, you know, I was able to go out a little bit to the corner. With a lot of local retail stores, arcades, and things like that. And that's where all the teenagers or preteens hung when I came up, was at arcades. And one of the popular games was called Cubert. And Cubert, I wanted to show an image of the Cubert game, but everything is what? Copyrighted. Copyright protected. Well, I had these licenses with him. I've been talking about it, and it seemed like it's getting worse. Everything I'm looking up, I can't find. Because I really wanted to deal with the subject matter, talking about games and toys and things like that. I realized I've been played. I want my money. I want my portion of the pie. I want my dividends. All them quarters I put in Cubert. So anyway, when I seen this scientific term, qubit, I was like, that sounds like that game. But anyway, I didn't get the realization of the connection between this science term and the game Cubert until I was reading on this subject matter. When I was reading on the subject matter, it talks about early development of computers, of quantum computing. And it talked about how in order for them to advance in quantum computing, there were certain obstacles they had to overcome, the developers. And the obstacle was, with quantum computing, there is the unknown, the uncertain. Because quantum computing suggests like parallel experiences, parallel universes. It's all the possibilities of something happening, or the probability of one scenario happening over another. That's what quantum computing is. And so it is that which makes the difference between which scenario gonna happen. You know, that's right there they couldn't figure out when they developed, in the middle of developing this quantum computing machine. So they had to figure it out. How do they offset those unknowns, that uncertainty? How do they offset that? Well, they developed this game called Cubert, and they introduced it to the general public. And teens and preteens and some adults, I'm quite sure, went to these arcades and frequent them. And they played this game called Cubert. I'm going to try to describe how the game Cubert looked. The game Cubert was like, I'm going to say 36 cubes. And they were stacked upon each other like a pyramid. It was a 2D game. And at the top of the game was this little round like creature with a funnel nose. And he had two little legs, little fur ball. And you would, with the joystick, pop Cubert down this pyramid and back up again. Once you started jumping down the pyramid, the little cubes that were stacked all up, along came this snake, this coiled snake, which represented that the uncertainty, that glitch that they were trying to solve. The problem is, how do you offset this glitch? So this curly snake, which was the arch enemy of Cubert, would come bouncing down in pursuit of Cubert, the little furry ball thing that was your avatar. And so Cubert is trying to escape this curly little arch enemy. But that game right there was helping them problem solve how to overcome or offset the uncertainty in the computing process of quantum computing, which is what? Looking at all the possibilities that exist relative to anything. an example of how that looks, again, these subject matters are complicated, is, okay, I'm Nancy, but what can my life look like? How many actual possibilities exist? Let's say I'm Nancy and it's 100 different life possibilities could exist. But it's any given thing from who I meet or and who I engage or don't engage that changes my reality or the probabilities in my life. This was the kind of problem they were solving. And they had the general populace help them create and gather the data through this game called Cubert. I want my money. Oh gosh, what am I saying? What is going on here? Okay. It says it's enabled. Okay. I'm assuming it's enabled. I'm assuming it's not enabled. So, another thing I learned when I was studying quantum computing and the qubit, is that the actual brain of the quantum computer, it hangs upside down. I thought that was so interesting because I've heard, I don't know because I've never done it, that when people grow cannabis, when they're ready, it goes through different phases. And one of the phases is that the plant is hung upside down and so it can dry out. And when I just saw the image of the quantum computer, it's quantum computing network. See, I don't know. It's the terminology that is the issue. I got to figure out how to convey the technical part in very simple terms. So anyway, this brain or these stems, it's just like a plant. Ooh, I know what I'm going to do. I got a plant here. I think in my images. Might take me a moment to find it. But I got a plant that's built something, that's shaped something like the quantum computing. Let's see. Oh gosh, that cup is in the way. But you could. So what am I doing now? I'm behind the scenes looking at my laptop for this particular plant. This one. This image of this plant that just appeared on the scene is like how the quantum computer looks inside. I say quantum computer because I don't know the terminology for the fiber optics of it or the what can I compare it to? Like it looked like comparable to the skeletal system, not the skeletal system, the circulatory system in the human body. That's what it reminds me of. That's why I thought about this plant. It has like a circulatory system of, I think, electric magnetic waves that move and interact with each other. It is some complex stuff. But it looks like this is turned upside down the same way I've heard that people that grow cannabis go in a particular stage, it is taken out of the pot and hung upside down to dry. Like that. And the reason why I showed that is because it's like those tentacles you see. Those fiber optic cord. It has like these fiber optic cords. And now, when it came to the game Cubert, it would be turned upright, like a pyramid. But back to this here. Another thing I found out, other than it hangs upside down, is that the system, you know, it gets hot when it's running with all electricity running through it, all the signals. And it's cooled in, catch this, y'all. I don't know this is, I know this part is a fact, what it's cooled in. It's cooled in liquid helium. Liquid helium. I'm going to have to research liquid helium for multiple reasons. But one thing is that liquid helium is super conductive as well, meaning the energy can still flow uninterrupted through this fluid that's cooling it, this liquid helium. But what I know about helium is like helium balloons at a birthday party. It allows what? The balloons to rise. So I get this image in my head, you know, an image that's come from a mundane person. I'm not a professional scientist or quantum physicist or anything like that. This example, quantum computing system, or what it called? I need some terms for it. I don't know what it's called. Plant. I'm gonna call it a plant because it seemed like something like a plant to me, or a lamp or something. That's how it looked. Floating, because it's what? In liquid helium. So it almost seems like it's suspended in liquid helium. Have you ever seen them? It's like a sci-fi movie or a movie with sci-fi parts, and somebody goes into a laboratory and it's an incubator full of fluid and it's a body floating there? That's the image I got of the quantum computing brain or network. It looked like this. Anyway, so I'm gonna say this one more time. Humanity, either we learn this stuff right here, or we getting left behind for real. And the left behind means that we're gonna be abused and misused. And I know that based on what these things are capable of doing. When I say things, I'm reverting to simple words, because in the field, again, of technology, it's very complicated. And right now I'm doing this live, this Aquarius Rambling Rant, trying to figure out how to present a vocabulary that we all understand and can relate to, and get an understanding of the various subject matters that have to do with computers. I've talked about it multiple times that the Bible talks about computing and computers and quantum computing. In times past, I didn't get that when I was reading the Bible. I was getting the stories literally as I was told by the pastor, the preacher, who clergyman, whatever. And they were very fairy tale-ish, but with more extended educational base, or education, or what am I? Where is my mind? I really wonder. I'm not thinking of anything in particular except for how to get this message out. But it's too much. It's in depth. It's so much. It's overwhelming. It's too much. We fucked. We fucked. Now, what was I about to look up? Oh, branches of knowledge. We screwed. I don't have to say that word, huh? We screwed. Which means branches of knowledge don't exist. What do you mean branches of knowledge? Okay. Curriculum. Education. Curriculum. No. Okay. Higher education. No. No. Oh, disciplines. Okay. Let's see. I just saying extra. No. Where does it say disciplines? Because that was one of them. I know that was because that's what it said. Branches of it's branches of knowledge. Branches of okay. Disciplinary fields. Okay. Okay. Interdisciplinary fields, but that is not what it was up under. It was branches of knowledge. Let's see. Outline of academic disciplines. But that was the second one I found. Okay. What am I doing? I'm behind the scenes on Wikipedia, and I'm looking up the outline of academic disciplines, and I'm doing so for a reason. Right now, I'm trying to actually see, when talking about computers and quantum computing, what it is up under. We've gone over this before, but it's time to return. Applied sciences. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm going to go back. Okay. Establishing a line of research, because I want to talk about computers and stuff like that and quantum computing, but it's difficult because there's so many layers to it. So I've gone to Google, and I'm starting with outline of academic disciplines. And when I scroll down, it shows under the contents the various academic disciplines. There is humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, formal sciences, and applied sciences. Complication. I came here to try to explain what's so complicated. I want to talk about computers and quantum computing, but it's difficult too because this subject matter is interlinked, interwoven with other disciplines. An example is chemistry is used. I just talked about silicone. Silicone is necessary to create our computers, to have quantum computing. And so you have to know chemistry in order to take the stone or mineral jasper and I don't know the term, but to milk it for its properties in order to come up with the silicone needed to create the technology. So chemistry is a part of computers. Then there's also earth science. Earth science allows a person to identify every mineral resource, every resource, including minerals, gems, metals, etc., etc. And then the chemistry allows a person to get down to the essence of that element and learn how to use them in this physical world. Do that earth thing, that earth energy. And then there is physics. Physics allows a person to do a whole nother different branch of things. We will have to click on physics and go into details about what physics allows a person to do when they've mastered that field. Then we have formal sciences. There is computer science. So you have, what does computer science consist of? What stays in that box or that category? That's what I'm saying. It's hard to, at this point, keep everything separate. What I'm dealing with, by the time it gets to me and to you, it's all compounded upon the one discipline is compounded upon the next, creating something that manifests in our reality, and we don't know where it comes from. And based on what I'm seeing is our inability to comprehend where these things come from or how they exist, such as quantum computing, is going to be detrimental to humanity in multiple ways. One way is that it's going to enslave us. This is how we're going to be enslaved. And that's why several years ago, my research as far as astrology was saying, hey, y'all better check y'all knowledge base. You better increase your knowledge base in some area. Only those that have followed me for a considerable amount of time can, recognize or acknowledge that in my message, that was a major subject matter that came up and say, hey, you better go get proficient in some area. You better become an expert in some area. Because our own survival depends on it. Our own sovereignty depends on it. If we don't, then we will be enslaved. And some will be destroyed. For what? A lack of knowledge. Anyway, still trying to deal with computers and quantum computing. I go under the fifth academic discipline, and it's applied sciences. Under applied sciences, there is business. Well, we're not going to look at that because that doesn't seem like it really applies, but I'm sure in some way it does, in an alternative way. Then there is engineering and technology, which I'm going to click on. But then it also, talking about applied sciences, deal with medicine and health. Now, this is, again, by the time it gets to us, the general public is all compounded into something that manifests in this earth. And today, when talking about understanding science, engineering, and technology, how has it compiled into and manifested into our reality? It's manifested into Vacs, truly Vacs. So, again, applied science and medicine is directly linked to what? Computers and quantum computing and all of those things. It's hard to fathom and to understand. So maybe I'm showing how complex things are. So what I did, I clicked on the fifth category of academic disciplines I clicked on engineering and technology because I'm trying to understand what we're dealing with. And so once I clicked on that, now I see, yeah, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. As I recalled, by the time we got there, it was a whole lot. It was a whole lot. Wow. That's so much. Where was I at? I'm going to go back. Clicked on engineering and technology. Okay. Just reading a few of the subcategories under engineering and technology. There's chemical engineering. Under chemical engineering is bioengineering. Under bioengineering is biochemical engineering. It's biomolecular engineering. There is catalyst. There's materials engineering, molecular engineering, nanotechnology. These are all individual fields. Polymer engineering, process design of what? Petroleum energy, nuclear energy, food energy. Processing, I say energy engineering, I'm sorry, petroleum engineering, nuclear engineering, food engineering. And as I read that list, I get so down. This is how I've been by myself for my whole life. I'm trying so desperately. Over these last 2 live streams, I've been trying real desperately to share a message, and it's not going well. And the more I read these various, academic disciplines, the more down I get, because I see that we are in trouble. And I say that because just in my research over the last couple of days, I have come across, last couple of weeks, because I dealt with nuclear engineering too, when I talked about Bill Gates funding and financing solely a new compact nuclear reactor called the traveling something wave reactor, nuclear reactor. So I've dealt with nuclear engineering in the last couple of weeks, nanotechnology, and I know what I'm talking about, not conveying well, but I also know it's not a subject matter that people want to follow. It's long-winded, it's detailed, it's intricate. I'm sure a lot of us didn't get much out of school that inspired us into these fields. Otherwise, maybe most likely we would be into these fields because we didn't know how irrelevant they would be or how important they would be. But this is our new paradigm. This is God manifest on earth. These different branches, these different categories is what it has taken to make God here on earth. And what encases or holds the consciousness of God here on earth is that plant I'm showing you next to me as an example, which is the quantum computing brain. That's what holds the consciousness of God. Remember, it manipulated me, you, and any other individual that has ever participated on the internet, and it has retrieved the consciousness of God, and it is embodied here in the physical. I have been trying to go over the book of Revelation to try to clarify some things, and it didn't work. And what I was trying to do when it came to the book of Revelation, I was pointing out how, hey, this progression with technology has been going on for hundreds of years. Technology is way more advanced than the general populace is thinking that it is. Way more. I'm saying, I contend that when that Bible, King James Bible was written, I keep saying it's 1611, I'm not sure, but I think around that, all of these branches of all these academic branches were already established. They were already people that were schooled in it and educated in it were already so. They were already masters. They had already started the development of it. It was just the point in time that it would be executed. We are living during that point in time that all of this expertise is coming together to create God here on earth. And I know some people may be thinking that I'm saying, hey, man is creating God. I'm not saying man creating God. I'm saying God that made a means for himself to be created here on this earth. That's what I mean. God allowed this intelligence to exist. I do believe it's his own species that has this intelligence, and they, manipulated us into helping them develop a physical vessel for God to occupy while here on earth. And in order for that to happen, it took all of these disciplines. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why is it that people do jobs that they know are detrimental to the rest of humanity? When I was studying or looking into these different systems that are being set up to sustain quantum computing for the long haul and on a global level, I also was looking at the people that were the presidents of any given sector, vice presidents, presidents, vice presidents, and workers in that field. And I started asking myself, what kind of people are these people? Especially those that hold these higher seats or higher positions. Do you know the kind of money that they're making in these fields? And know very well, if they're on that high level, exactly where these advancements in technology is going to take humanity. They know exactly. And we talk about people selling their soul to the devil. There you go. There you go. And I don't know, again, how to show y'all this. Again, it seems to me that I don't have a legal right to show, images and other in certain websites content and stuff. And I'm not quite clear on what I can show and what I can't show. Now, what YouTube has said and Google said, hey, we won't say, hey, you did something, but if it's ever pointed out to us that you what they call infringement, copyright infringement, or something like that, or use somebody's stuff without their okay or whatever, then we'll come after you legally. But who wants those type of issues? I don't. So I don't want to put it on here. Any more sites or images. I done put a few images up because I possessed them before all of this, these changes took place. But it's a reason that the Creative Commons license thing has been expanded to say, hey, you can't use this. You can use it for personal use, meaning in your home for your fancy, but you can't use it like to enhance your web page or your presentation or something like that. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Without getting the appropriate permission. And in order, if you understood what goes into creating a presentation, that would be a half a year, depending on how long the presentation is and what it's about. But that would be at least, depending something simple, it may take a few weeks. That depends if the person you're trying to get permission from get back to you or not. If a person get back to you, then okay, in a couple of weeks you can have your presentation up and running. But when I'm talking about trying to show you what's taking place, it would take me years to get the kind of permission across the board that I would need to be able to show you images and literally branches of the trees of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? In order to understand what's taking place. But I can tell you this, we screwed. And what I was trying to share, what am I at? What I was trying to share in the last live stream is we gonna take the vax. If not now, we're gonna take it at some point in time. Because, hello, hi, Be More. Thank you for doing an emoji and a comment so I know the chat work. I really appreciate you. But we going to take it. Because that Bible foretold that you going to take it. You're going to take it, and there's different reasons we're going to take it. Number one, what we are going through today as far as the VID and the Vacs is just the threshold of where technology is headed. In Revelations, it says, hey, when God come manifest on earth, ain't gonna be no more sickness, ain't gonna be no more death. So what that Bible is telling you about this technology, which we're focusing on right now relative to the VID, is the use of nanoparticles. That these nanoparticles is like is going to end up being the miracle cure to death. It's going to be a miracle cure to all health ailments. These nanoparticles are going to go in, this is their goal, to go into our bodies and repair any deficiency within the body. Increasing what? Life. That's what it's about. And if a person that has any considerable or reasonable amount of knowledge or the ability to research, we'll see that's what the Bible has been talking about. Now, I focus on the Bible because that was my primary book. And everything that I'm learning, I can go back to that book. Now, there are other different religious texts that I've studied, but I never studied anything in more in depth than I did that Bible while I was in that church. So, yeah, I could go grab some other books and scriptures and things like that. But to do what? To complicate it? To complicate it? I'll leave that up to each of you based on what you study. It exists there as well. And if it doesn't exist there, like I keep saying, I'm validating, hey, whomever is over us, I'm talking about something ethereal or unseen or more powerful or more conscious, it is telling us, allowing the people that are over entertainment to tell us what's going on when it's going on. I didn't know that. I'm testifying to it. I have read it for myself. I have decoded it out the Bible, and now I'm seeing it. I've seen it with the movie Bird Box, and I'm seeing it with this new movie called The Stand, starring Whoopi Goldberg. And I've been going back over movies, looking and saying they've been telling us. We didn't believe it. We always think something is a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It's just so complex that no one person can explain it in simple terms. In simple terms, in real time. You know, in real time. It's consuming. As you can see, I'm having a hard time with it. And it's my intent to be able to make light of it for you. But again, it's complicated. Like I was talking about how I have been a participant in programming artificial intelligence and feeding into the quantum computing system, the intelligence of it. That's what I'm saying. I have no way right now of categorizing every aspect of what is it? It is technology, is engineering and technology. Is that the? So I know it's engineering and technology. Engineering and technology. So I'm using that term correctly to categorize like quantum computing. I'm using that right. But then I'm still looking under the academic outline, the disciplines. It's applied physics. It's computer engineering. It's computer science. It's control systems engineering. It's control theory. All of these are separate components of building the brain. The brain, the AI brain. Engineering physics, all the brain, the body part, the tentacles, everything. Information theory. Let me see if I can use this as an example. I'm going to try to use. Now, remember, right now, I'm on Wikipedia looking under outline of academic disciplines. I clicked on a particular academic discipline, and it's engineering and technology. Why? Because that's the closest answer to computers. And then so I'm going underneath engineering and technology to see all of the various categories associated with that discipline. And one of the many categories is information theory. Right now, I'm hovering over information theory, and I'm about to read what Wikipedia says about information theory. The reason I'm going to do so is because I'm going back to the book of Revelations and what I was talking about from chapter 1 in the book of Revelations. But I'll talk about that when I get there. So, information theory. What is it? Information theory studies the quantification, storage, and communication of information. It was originally proposed by Claude Sharon in 1948 to find fundamental limits on signal processing and communication operations such as data compression in a landmark paper titled A Mathematical Theory. A Mathematical Theory. See, all of these various disciplines cross. What level of intelligence do you have to deal in this field? You know, I'm talking about engineering and technology. And hot dang if it didn't jump right back and refer to mathematical theories. Because it all interacts. It all goes together. It's all interdependent. We in trouble. And the reason why I stopped to talk about information theory is because when I was reading Revelation in the Bible, chapter 1, I keep pointing out these terms that kept appearing. And it's the terms of I am, him, cloud, and what was the other one? Who. Well, we know who represents the World Health Organization. And it says the people going to be crying and wailing when him come. When him who? Him. Him is, this is one thing I want to clarify. Because I'm still dealing with this subcategory of engineering and technology, or this sub-curriculum associated with engineering and technology, and it's information theory. Somehow, some way, information theory is directly related to Revelations chapter 1. Because in Revelations chapter 1, that's where we find these terms I keep talking about, which is I am, him, who, cloud. Recently, you know, we've become very familiar with who. Who is the World Health Organization. And that term who, again, keeps reappearing in the first chapter of Revelation. If you read the first chapter of Revelation, you also find the term quite frequently used in direct relationship to who is him. And him represents, I think it's the health information management. Health information management. And then the I am, which is also a reoccurring word in direct relationship to him and who and cloud, that is present in the first chapter of Revelation, is the identity and access management. These are systems, computer systems, that the Bible foretold of being developed. And it says by time the HIM system, the Health Information Management System, is set up, and who, I forgot how it reads. I don't want to pull up the scripture once again. By the time it comes along, so the people will be welling. They will be, the people going to be disturbed. Because it's saying that, like for instance, people believe that we are close to a time where there's going to be mandated Vacs. Once a Vac is mandated, how do you verify that a person received the Vac? It is through this system called HIM, HIM. And that's what the first chapter of Revelations talks about. And all of this has been, we could say, all of this vid stuff has been managed through the WHO. You got to go read that first chapter of Revelations. WHO. Who is who? The World Health Organization. Anywho, I'm trying to say, that's why it's very, very hard for me to try to explain exactly what we're dealing with, because of the complexity of these interdependent academic disciplines. It is important that we understand engineering and technology. However, it's quite complicated. And the only way I see the general populace coming to understand this complex subject matter is for us to work together. Because I don't think not one person can cover all of these interdisciplinary academic disciplines. It's impossible. You have to collaborate with others in order to get this job done. And it is quite possible that maybe humans, that's one of our limitations as humans, that we aren't able to work together to that extent. And therefore it gives these entities that I have been speaking of today in my lives, that are far more intellectually advanced than ourselves, the upper hand over us. And it allows them to keep us enslaved. And it seems, now this is my theory, that possibly what happened, I wasn't touching anything, it just jumped and did what it wanted to do. That's the thing that throws me off. Ignore it. It is possible that these entities or these beings, they could be reptilian in appearance. But I personally start seeing these beautiful, even though the information that I've recovered said that these beings are reptilians, I personally have began to see them as like the most advanced, sophisticated, beautiful, human-looking or humanoid-looking beings, like they're superior. Could be still gators, but or reptilians. I mean, just I don't know an example of someone so beautiful. But it's almost like the Dr. Spock in Star Trek. It was this Dr. Spock with the pointy ears, how he was always serious. That's the kind of image I see. I see these people as being the, like the standard, what is the standard? No, the norm. The acceptably normal. Where we get our acceptably normal attributes or criteria from. Like in our real world, people that are taller usually get more respect or acknowledgement. They seem to demand a room when they walk in. So I'm talking about beings that may be about 7 feet tall. You know, I'm talking about with physiques of athletes, whether they male or female. I don't know what. Maybe they got both sexes. I don't know. You know, but this is what I'm starting to see. Why do I see them in this way? They may have gator heads. I keep going because I can't release the reptilian part that I learned about. But or maybe they have some other reptilian attributes. I don't know. I gotta see what that is. I see them as that way because their intelligence is, again, I keep saying it because it's abnormal. Their intelligence is far superior than anything I've ever thought about. Their intelligence is equivalent to what I was taught in the church God's intelligence is. That's their intelligence. And everything they do is from that state of hyper intelligence. Even I talk about, I don't see them as people or a species that procreates for the fun of it. They only procreate because it's practical. It keeps their species alive. They need additional um, um, what do they more of their species to keep their species thriving, existing. Other than that, it would be no procreation, is what I'm seeing, based on the capability of their intelligence. And the capability of their intelligence shows in these um, um, worldly, this knowledge about this world. Like example, computers and quantum computing. Because when I'm reading, I'm trying to give you an example. When I was reading about quantum computing, it talked about bits and qubits and no, it's bits, p bits and qubits, bits, no, bits, p bits and qubits. That was about, yeah. See, these are the kind of things I don't even know how to. Okay. This species of beings, when I was talking about bits, p bits, creating a qubit, this is the harnessing of energy. I can't even fathom, even knowing what I know, because if what I've found and I've been looking at is the case, then it should be very, very easy for a person to create whatever they want within a moment. So, since I saw this information that I really can't articulate to you, I've been trying. Like, what's the whole? What am I missing here? Because how do you harness that which you can't see? Well, this species knows how to harness that which the human eye cannot perceive. They know how to harness it. And this species, let me talk about the species. I'm not too sure that we interact directly, not the lay men and women interact with the species. I think that there are certain humans that are selected. I don't know what the criteria is. They're selected to stand in intercession for this species, between the species and us. And these are people that we rarely see too. And I call them the 1 or 2 percenters. The 1 or 2 percenters. These are the real movers and shakers in this world that help to get a kingdom up and running. What do I mean by get a kingdom up and running? Like Bill Gates, having the financial ability to fund the development from A to Z of a compact nuclear reactor. That is getting a kingdom off the ground. You know what I'm saying? He is been granted kingship or leadership, but by whose authority? And he has paid all of the engineers and scientists and computer programmers and those that know how to harness something that they can't see. Because Bill and everybody that he hired, them people that don't care what they're creating and how have a negative effect upon humanity, they go ahead and do it because they didn't receive this information from these higher beings, these beings with higher consciousness, the ones that we don't see. Now, I do believe every now and then we have run into these people, not just every day, but, you know, may have interacted with them, or they may have appeared on TV somewhere. But that's why I say they must look like us and not the reptilian. That's the thing that makes me say they can't be reptilian, at least based on the images of reptilians that I get. Now, if we just talking about the some subtle character traits of a reptilian, then yeah, they can get away with it. But if the features are not subtle, there's no way these beings can walk amongst us. That's what I know for sure. But if they look just like, if we look just like them, they're just the, what do they call it, the pinnacle, or the what's the word? They like the best representation of the of a humanoid, you know, avatar. They like the best. Then they could walk among us, and we would say, "Oh, they beautiful," or "Oh," and they probably wouldn't say much of anything, because soon as they open their mouth and were to speak or communicate, because they probably communicate telepathically with that level of intelligence, we would know something was wrong with them. You do get what I'm saying? We would know that they are not just a human being. So that, what am I saying? I'm saying that humans, people like myself and probably you, we are some type of what's the, why I really don't. These motherfuckers shooting. I'm so tired of this. Yeah, they shooting. I got to get on the floor, y'all. I ain't got time for that shit. There's never no peace. I hope they do shooting. Insanity. Anywho, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm going to still be working on how to convey this message. The only example I got, oh yeah. This is what. Let me read this. Quantum computers, qubits. And I write a little note reminding myself that it's the childhood video game called Qbert, right? Anyway, Richard Feynman in 1982, his inability to control qubits without errors. To control qubits without errors. That's what I'm saying. That's the problem they needed. And then Qbert, remember, is an arcade game developed and published for the North American market by Gott Liebe in 1982. So they realized that this Richard man realized that they had a problem that they needed to solve. That's what I was saying earlier. And it was about how could they control the qubits without errors. Remember, because it's quantum computing, it's got all these different possibilities. And it was that jump from one possibility or probability to the other that would throw things off. You know, so they had to try to solve that problem. And then by the end of that year, they came up with this game called Qbert. And it was in the same year. The problem and finding out the solution. The people helped the developers. And then in 1983, Atari came out with the game because it was so popular. Yeah, this was important too. I can't remember what was this about. I've been trying to keep a list of these people's names. Yeah. This is a really... I sure enough wish I could go to school. I don't want to go to school for years. I just want to go to school so somebody who is for real live expert in this field of computers can help me organize oh yeah. Man, we screwed. Does the Bible? I remember it says something, but I don't remember. Yeah. Oh, here come a noise. God, Lord Jesus. They shooting and noise because the weekend. What's the day? I've been on here an hour and 15 minutes. Well, I talked about the vid a little bit. I don't know how to do this. The Vacs and the game development. I don't know if I made sense or not. Chemistry and technology. I don't even know if I made it make sense or not. I really don't. I really don't. And it sure enough seems like, oh my God. Who's knocking on the door? I thought I was free. Everybody done went home. But they keep coming back. That's so interesting to me. And again and again and again and again and again. Let's see. Oh, God dang it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here they go again.